Everything in life, you're going to have people that are bad and people that are good. You have to choose your side.
In case you have not noticed, the whole world is talking about Sean Combs' The Reckoning, the documentary that 50 Cent produced on Netflix about Puff Daddy.
I don't even think Diddy is only a destiny swapper. I believe he's a destiny snatcher.
You may know rapper 50 Cent has been teasing a documentary about his purported rival, Sean Diddy Combs, for more than a year. But now the 4-part docuseries has finally premiered on Netflix. The series explores Combs' life, from his upbringing, the creation of Bad Boy Entertainment, to all of the allegations of assault and sexual abuse since the 1990s. And it also investigates his alleged connection to the deaths of iconic rappers Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur, featuring insights from those close to him, witnesses from his racketeering and sex trafficking trial, and jurors who heard weeks of testimony.
If you haven't seen it, take it from me. It is something you have to watch. It is an extreme eye-opener. But let me tell you what was more intriguing. I'm not concerned about the man. I'm not concerned about the celebrity that he became. Everyone said he was a terrible person. I'll leave that to him and his God. I was more concerned about the parenting dynamics that raises that kind of man. What has to be sprinkled in your childhood or in your upbringing for you to become a person like that? That really bothers me. That's what I'm more concerned about. And today, as a mom, I know for a fact that I don't want to raise a child, man, woman, boy, girl, that has those kind of traits in any form, way, or shape. That's my concern, and that's my focus. And so today we're going to talk about lessons that we learn from Sean Combs' The Reckoning. First angle will be the parenting angle. How to avoid raising humans that may look like that. Let's go back to Diddy's childhood. One of the very obvious things that started the Diddy Combs story was that he had no father.
On a dark, freezing night in January of 1972, a man named Melvin Combs, a 33-year-old retired military veteran from New York City, sat silently in his parked car.
This is Harlem, a place almost everybody has heard of, but where most outsiders have never been. Every urban problem that plagues this country is represented here. You can find it all within a few blocks of this rooftop. Broken families, rampant street crime, the worst housing this side of Calcutta, alcoholism, street gangs, and the worst plague of all, addiction.
Melvin Combs himself lived in Harlem, where a widespread increase in arson, violent crime, and drug use had turned Harlem, a previously vibrant neighborhood, into a grim, shadowy underworld. Living in Harlem, it was very difficult for him to make ends meet without dealing drugs. But he was good at that. Eventually, he even formed ties with Frank Lucas, the infamous New York drug lord whose life was later turned into a Hollywood movie. But on that night, as Melvin sat in the car, engine running in the cold darkness, a figure came out of the shadows and shot him dead. His killer was never found. Most murderers weren't in those days.
So he was raised by a single mother, himself and his sister. So first things, the absence of a father. I know children born of single parents who are nothing close to this, so I would not say it's the single parenting. However, the mother did her best to give Sean the best. We could see all through the story how we were told that he wasn't a street boy. The mother did everything to keep him out the streets, even though somehow the documentary suggested that she was somehow in the business because she would drive Sean and his friend to strange places, leave them in the car, tell them, I'm coming, I want to drop one or two things. And as an adult mind, you can tell she was about the business as well. However, she kept her kids out of it. She provided the best for Sean. Sean went to school, a Catholic school was what we were told. He was always dressed in 4 coats. Like, his mother gave him a certain type of luxury that every single mother wants to give their child. Sean was out of the streets. He was not a bully. He barely even fought the people that fought him back. So the mother had to teach him how to stand for himself.
Sean started fighting. He started stepping up. But Sean don't fight like this. Sean's gonna bite you. He's gonna eat your ear off. He's gonna cut your neck open with his mouth. He's not losing.
So there was that great intention by a mother to toughen her child up, or to teach the child or provide for the child in a way that the father would have done if he was there. But here's where the thing happens. She focused on building confidence for him without really working on his human side. Emphasis. It's okay to provide your children the things that they do not have. It's okay to provide your children the things that you did not get as a child. But don't forget the important part, that they are emotionally grounded, that you're teaching them empathy, kindness, and respect. Sean didn't get any of that, because while watching, we saw Kirk Burroughs, who was his closest friend or his childhood friend, and also the co-founder of the company, say that he got everything that we didn't get. However, he wasn't taught right from wrong because he had no father, and my father taught me right from wrong. He was raised in a home where they were having parties every night, where they were doing adult things.
You know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also ladies of the night, a prostitution ring too, or these ladies was doing things other than modeling.
The house was just so filled with a certain level of immorality, and then the mother heaped on top of that confidence, ambition, lessons that we learn from Sean Come the Reckoning. First angle will be the parenting angle. How to avoid raising humans that may look like that. It's great to raise children who believe they can succeed. It's great to impart that ambition into them where they feel like they can strive and they can get it all. However, ensure to teach them that there are paths to it. There is a right path to it. There's accountability while on the path. There should be empathy, there should be respect, there should be discipline, and there should be the ability to give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Because every time we're just focused on, you're going to make me money, you're going to take care of me when I'm old, you're going to this, you're going to that. You keep telling them all the great things that they can be, forgetting the things that they also need to be while on that path of ambition. Lessons that we learn from Sean Come the Reckoning. 2, friendships. Friendships, the dynamics of friendships, where you will just be able to say that this person is giving Sean Come vibes and needs to be immediately cut off. I want you to know that some people are drawn to your light to quench it.
Sometimes it's just hard for a nigga to wake up. This right here, tell me what goes out to everyone.
Diddy had signed Biggie. Biggie was the big thing in town at the time. And if you noticed from the documentary, you were told that Diddy liked to be the center of everything. He liked to be the face. He was in all their videos. He was in all the commercials. He was everywhere. If they were on stage, he was on stage with them. He was promoting the artist and promoting himself even more. And so he needed the next big thing to help him shine. And so he was attracted to the light that is Biggie. He took Biggie in, but did not stop until Biggie ended. Now, whether he ended Biggie, I don't know. I have no idea. But we all know that Biggie ended and that light was quenched. He still didn't stop there. At least before Biggie was quenched, he had gotten to Tupac, whose light was shining at the time. I don't have all the details, but all I'm telling you is that there are people who are attracted to you because you have light. And they will come, just like ants running around sugar. They will tell you how they think there's something in you. There's this thing that you have that's so beautiful to behold. I can help you even make it better. I just want to be close to you. I just want to have a body like you. I just want you to inspire me. Be discerning enough to understand that no, they don't want you to inspire them. They want to inspire you by quenching you.
Behind the mentorship was alleged control. It stated that Combs was jealous of the friendship between Biggie and Tupac and wanted complete dominance over Biggie's career.
There's a yearning for him to have that complete
total control. You're my artist, you're my best friend. I pay you, you work for me.
And there's no way to know by being discerning. And I don't know if there's any way to be discerning if not by the Holy Spirit. I'm a Christian, so I'm going to stand by that truth. Be able to look at people and ask your spirit, what is this person's intention in my life? And a lot of times your spirit will tell you. Your intuition will tell you. And then we watched in that video, Tupac never liked Diddy. He wasn't, I don't know the dynamics, but it wasn't just there. But he wasn't sensitive enough to understand until he was quenched.
As soon as Pac walked right into the lobby of Quad Studios that night, he was confronted by 3 armed men who tried to rob him. Pac fought and struggled with their assailants and tried to grab one of their guns, but the men shot Pac 5 times, pistol whipped him, and robbed him of over $40,000 worth of jewelry. And Pac survived the shooting, but blamed both Biggie and Puffy for the robbery, claiming that they betrayed him and set him up to be shot.
I have proof, things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about.
It's okay to say no to friendships. It's okay to say no to hangouts. It's okay to say I don't want to be part of it. It's okay to say no to group chats. Cancel FOMO and replace it with JOMO. Fear of missing out over joy of missing out. I am okay being out of it because sometimes when you're not in those spaces, you're safe. People may never be able to tell you what they went through in the Diddy parties, in those dark places that they found themselves simply because they were invited. It's okay to say no. That's all I would say there. And you have to be very discerning. If you're not discerning enough, you need to start praying more for the spirit of discernment. Like, Father, please, if you smell it 10 meters away, tell me. I will run 10 miles. Lessons that we learn from Sean Come the Reckoning. The business and the corporate angle.
When you're a leader in that way, it's admirable until you get to the point where you want to control everyone around you. He got to that point.
But this the same guy that Kirk Burroughs once told me he slapped his mother. And I told everybody, had I known he slapped his mother after I told Kirk Burroughs, Kirk told me after I straightened his out for cussing his mama out.
I'm telling you, like, we just gonna do it like this so you really understand. I never told anyone. I never called the police. Anybody else would have said, Puff Daddy told me he's gonna kill me in the park.
Poverty can hide a demon. But you see power and wealth, it will dig up all your traumas. I'm telling you, it is very easy to think that, oh, I am a humble person because I don't have money. I don't have a choice, I have to be humble. Oh, I'm a quiet person because I don't have anything. It's normal for me to keep quiet. When you now have a certain amount of money in your bank, or a certain level of wealth, a certain level of affluence, that they say is when you know the real you. And it's the truth. The traumas that you leave unhealed, the traumas that you leave unvisited, untouched, you will pass into your children. A lot of the bad behaviors that our children have, if you check the parent or the father or the mother, one person has a trait or a tiny bit of it, or they have something within them as a parent that allows them condone such behaviors. Sean Combs had no communication. The only time, from what we watched, I deduced that the only time his mother would ever communicate with him would be when she wants to tell him, you have to brace up, you have to be strong, you have to look the people who bully you in the eyes and tell them, do not do that with me.
My mother, I guess, was raising me for the real world. She always told me if someone hits me, to hit them back harder.
When there's nobody left to spank them anymore, like we heard Diddy Combs' mom say that he got a lot of beatings, like most likely put him in his place.
My mother was, I guess, raising me for the real world. She was always told me if somebody hit me, make sure I hit them back harder. Make sure they never hit me again.
You know how you hear your mom's voice in your ear? Boy, you better boy.
Beatings too.
His beatings made me scared. Right? I got beatings now. But when he got his beatings, it wasn't a joking thing. Nah. Damn, I hate thinking about that, man.
One thing that we did not realize was that, or our parents did not realize was that, in an attempt to be so disciplined, to be so strict, to keep us out of harm's way, they became our harm. A lot of us grew up in toxic environments. So as a mother, especially an immigrant mother who lives abroad, an immigrant father who lives abroad, the ecosystem has changed. If you try that now, you would lose your child. Why would a mother beat a child this much? Because all of that trauma that the mother was experiencing from the life that she lived and from losing her spouse and from being a single mother having to care for 2 children, she wasn't dealing with it. And instead, she was pouring it on the child. And then when Sean had the power, the money, the room, the wealth to do as he wishes, all of that bitterness, all of that anger came out. So parents, deal with your trauma. Even if you don't know the traumas that you have, it will be a great time to start looking at your children and see if there are any repetitive patterns in your life, in your childhood, that you could be bringing to them that could cost them in the future. Lastly, I just want to say, if you are someone who has watched someone be abused and you keep quiet, sooner or later, it's going to happen to you. Maybe by that person or by another person. Because you're not just an accomplice at that moment, you are an enabler. If you had the opportunity to speak, you had the permission to speak, and you did not speak, you are an accomplice and an enabler. And sooner or later, it will get back to you. I know as immigrants always are about, everybody mind the business for this abroad, don't put my person, you have to just remove your eye. No problem. What goes around comes around. If you have the opportunity to remove yourself from a situation where abuse is encouraged, please do. And not be too focused on what you're getting, the access, the life that it's affording you. Because sooner or later, if you watch every person that walked around PDD, they were one way cheated, abused, ridiculed, insulted, or stolen from something that was theirs. It will come back. And most of those people had stayed silent for years because they felt, it's not concern me, it's not me that they're doing it to. A lot of them could not speak for themselves. And those who were not hurt at the time did not speak for them. But we saw them, everybody got a piece of him. Either alive or dead, they got something. So if you have the chance, speak out. If you have the chance, encourage someone who's hurt, who's abused, to speak out. It may not only save them, it may save other people who would have been abused if that silence had continued. Because most times, all of this circle thrives in silence. Teach your children to speak out. Teach them to trust you enough to talk to you, so that abusers do not continue in that circle. Because we already know that those kind of behaviors thrive in silence. Do it discerning, do it with the spirit, do it with guidance. But don't hide pain that you're going through or that someone is going through in your heart, because that's how the devil makes you feel like you are miserable. The moment you speak out, there's a little bit of light. Whether the world believes, whether the world does not believe, you free yourself of certain kind of trauma, of certain, you heal a little just because you spoke. Find the right avenues and speak out. I hope you enjoyed this video. These are the kind of things I like to talk about. If you find them interesting, please subscribe. I had to keep this video very short, but there's so many more things I would have loved to touch. Please drop your comments in the comment section. I'd like to continue it down there. Thank you. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.